Hello, fellow humans. One of the most common questions that I see for people thinking about joining the Coast Guard is, how do I prepare for boot camp? People are oftentimes nervous. It's their first time being away from home. It's their first time being in a situation where they're going to be asked a lot of them, a lot of physicality going on, mental and mental strain. It's a big leap for a lot of people. So I've put together 5 of my tips for preparing for and surviving Coast Guard boot camp. My number one tip is get in endurance shape. So you hear a lot of times getting in shape, exercising, running, all that stuff, definitely important. But I would further specify getting in endurance shape. What I mean by that is I don't think it's personally so much important on how many push-ups you can do, but how long you can hold a plank, how long you can maintain a an uncomfortable position. There's a lot of holding your rifle out in front of you straight arm. There's a lot of holding a water bottle above your head for extended periods of time. That might not seem particularly difficult, but if you start talking about doing that for 2, 3 minutes at a time, it gets pretty hard. So I would recommend practicing push-ups, but practicing holding them in middle positions, in the up position, in the down position, and even in the middle between the up and down, because there's a lot of that. There's a lot of holding involved. That's definitely something that I didn't realize was going to be that bad. Did a lot of push-ups in training, but not necessarily a lot of holding. And I think that can make a huge difference in terms of your preparation physically. Understand that the point is to fail. So don't take anything personally. It is designed for you to fail and then to succeed. They are going to break you down individually and as a group, and they're going to build you back up better as a Coast Guard person. So don't take anything personally. Don't get too upset if it doesn't seem like you can do anything right. That's how it's designed. You're going to do things wrong, and that's part of the process. So when you go into it, just understanding that it's a game effectively, and that's part of the prescribed process is for you to fail. Then it's not so bad when you do fail, and you just learn to accept it, learn from it, and move on. And that's the best that you can do. The next piece of advice, somewhat related to the last one, is learning from your mistakes and from the mistakes of others. You are not going to get in trouble. Well, I mean, you might get in temporary trouble in the sense of being told to get down and start pushing, but you're not going to have serious administrative punishments or consequences simply for making genuine mistakes. Where the problems come in is when you repeat those mistakes over and over. They want you to learn and adapt. So take those mistakes that you make and also other people making mistakes. Learn from their mistakes. That's a double positive experience, because not only are you learning from their mistakes what not to do, you're not having to suffer the consequences of that mistake in the first place in order to learn from it. So be very observant of what's going on around you, be very self-aware, and just keep a close eye on what works and what doesn't work, and adjust and grow from there. The next one, very, very important one, have a support system back at home. So the only way that you communicate with your loved ones is through letters. You do on Sundays. You'll have a prescribed amount of time to write and read letters. Make sure that you get with people before you leave, and have an understanding that you're going to be needing some support, and get their addresses, physical addresses, snail mail. Or it's not emailing, it's not texting, it's not calling. There's no social media. It's snail mail. So get their addresses. When you get to basic, you'll have your own company identifier and address, and you can send that, or if they give you an opportunity to call home, you can give them your address. But you want to have their addresses already so that you can get mail out to them as soon as you're able to write letters, because believe me, it's definitely a big help to have some kind of support system from home or friends or family. It really helped me get through that experience. So you want to have that resource available for yourself as well. And the last piece of advice for this set that I will give is to challenge yourself mentally ahead of time. So obviously we talked about physical endurance, but basic training is very, very mental. To me, it was harder, mentally stressful than it was physically. So they put you in these very complicated situations where you have to make decisions and you have to act on those decisions. You have to work together with your team, and oftentimes it's going to be very stressful. And as I said before, you're going to fail a lot of times, and that's okay. But you want to be able to use your brain as much as possible to make things as easy as you can, because oftentimes, with the benefit of hindsight, you see that the solution was really the most obvious one. So maybe do even crossword puzzles or like lateral thinking puzzles. You can find them online. Just riddles, things like that. I know it might seem kind of silly, but just sort of wrapping your head around the idea of thinking problems through in a kind of maybe outside the box but simple way, and also just using your brain in general. So reading a lot, being up on current events, just exercising your mind. I think that it's just as important to be mentally sharp as it is to be in good physical shape. So anyway, those are my 5 personal tips for preparing for and surviving Coast Guard boot camp. Obviously, there's a great many more things that you could discuss. Please leave me a comment if you have any specific questions on basic. I will address those in future videos. And again, I'm going to also get into more other general areas of the Coast Guard. So any questions that you have Coast Guard related will give me a topic for a future video. So hope that helps somebody who might be thinking about joining or preparing for basic training. I will catch up with you all again very soon. Thanks again, and Semper Paratus.